Welcome to my review of Buggy Boy on the Amiga. This is based on the Buggy Boy arcade game, which is also known as Speed Buggy by Tatsumi. Released in 1986, there were some absolute corker conversions of the game, especially across the 8 bits, the Commodore 64 being particularly notable. But in 1988, of course, with the extra power of the Amiga and the Atari ST, this is the closest to the arcade original that you can find to play it. Don't be put off by the graphics, as with this game it's all about the gameplay. You see, it's not about racing as such. In Buggy Boy it's all about collecting the flags to boost your score and time. There really isn't anything quite like it for frantic juggling of manoeuvrability, that it quickly becomes less about racing but all about lightning reflexes to avoid all the obstacles that are strewn around the racetrack. As you can see, I'm on the first track here and doing the off-road. This is one of my favourite tracks. It's definitely the easiest of all the tracks. They get progressively harder as you go down through the list. But this is, for me, the one that's the best balance. You can really feel like you're in control as you negotiate the track. Some of the others I think are a little bit unfair with some of the other tracks and the obstacles, so you just cannot avoid everything that's on the track. Now, as you can see on the top right hand corner, you have a series of flags to collect. If you collect them all in the right order with the colours, then they all start flashing and they get super bonuses, and that gives you extra points. So there's an extra incentive to try and not just collect the flags, but try and collect them in the correct order. You've also got the ability of, as you can see, lots of different points of the flags, but you've also got the time flags. These are really important if you want to do well in the game, because if you don't pick them up, it's going to get a lot tougher. You really need to be able to pick up each one. As you can see, there's different legs based on the game. There's actually 6 legs in effect, well 5, because when you finish the 5th it's the end of that particular race, and you've got to make sure that as you're racing that you go over the finish line before the timer runs out, basically. Now, you notice that with the football, there's lots of hidden bonuses. Sometimes the footballs are in plain sight, but sometimes they're actually disguised as a rock. So sometimes you can get very lucky and get that extra bonus point. One thing that is rather interesting with this game is the control method. Unlike a lot of games, it rather frustratingly has the fire button, rather than accelerate, actually change the gear. So to accelerate you have to press up or down on your joystick, but it will retain that speed. But it does mean that if you've crashed, often you crash again and again, just purely because you're trying to accelerate rather than concentrate on the road. So it's a bit of a shame that they follow that path, but I suppose in 1986 and 1988 you can forgive it for a few idiosyncrasies. As you can see, I'm just showing you some of the other sections that you can race. They all follow a sort of theme somewhere on the globe. So north, it tends to be a cold, wintry place. East tends to be deserty and based on Egypt. West tends to be, looks like Mediterranean and Paris-like, with lampposts and all that very Mediterranean style. And then finally in the south tends to be very desert-like and tropical. Now let's quickly discuss some of the other conversions out there. The screenshots of other versions. Here's the arcade original version in all its glory. As you can see, apart from being slightly smaller graphics on the Amiga, it's pretty much identical. One of the things you may notice is there's other buggies actually on the racetrack. That's something that was cut out on the Amiga, and the other 8-bits. The Spectrum runs better than it looks. And then finally you have the Commodore 64, which doesn't look great in the screenshot, but trust me, it's probably one of the best versions out there, certainly on all the 8-bits. And finally we have the Amstrad CPC version. This is often overlooked, and there's quite a nice little conversion. Perhaps still not as good as Commodore 64 though. So what did the reviewers of the time think? Well, Amiga Action, they gave it 78% when it came out on budget label. Basically they said that Buggy Boy has all the finesse and gameplay of the arcade original and have been kept to produce a true quality game. With 5 treacherous stages to choose from, Buggy Boy will keep you amused for hours. Amiga Computing gave this a respectable 81%, also giving it the Amiga Computing Excellence Award. They said, a well-varied content makes Buggy Boy a joy to play. The challenge of completing all the courses and then trying again to better your score ensures that the game will not be soon consigned to the attic. A lively and lovely non-violent game. Nice one, Elite. Then we have the fabled Zap review. They absolutely adored the game. They gave it 92%, saying a very accurate conversion with highly addictive qualities, a must for fans of the racing genre. So I hope you've enjoyed my review, and this has rekindled some fond old memories that you may have of this classic game. And my advice is seek it out and give it a play. And with that, I'll just leave you with the end sequence that you get when you complete one of the racetracks.